I don't think shaming is good, and I think destigmatizing fatness is fine, because stigmatizing it doesn't actually do anything positive.
He's the one just standing here going, look, I care about people. Well, I'm the one who cares about people. He's the one, that guy is the one that can't stand seeing fat people in video games. Look, you've totally fallen for the propaganda, Noah. You need to you need some smelling salts so you can actually get woke. I mean, what's going on here with this fat acceptance movement? It makes perfect sense in the context of capitalism. Obviously, it's working out great for Ben & Jerry's. They're happy.
Why is your first target media that, destigmatizes fatness? There are far more worthy targets.
Why are you such an idiot to just fall for this propaganda so easily? Oh, look, it's for a marginalized group. Here, let me help the ice cream company sell ice cream.
Noah is like peak, like
MPC.
I am in favor of current thing. Like, please program current thing into my brain. Beep bloop bleep.
Look, show just a modicum of skepticism here.
No.
I don't see why it's impossible to do, especially if you call yourself a socialist or an anti-capitalist. You're the one. This should be like manna from heaven here. Oh my God, look. They're making people fat on purpose.
Yes. But someone on the right said it, so,
These capitalist pigs, they're literally turning people into pigs.
It all makes sense now, yes.
Why is this not a big revelation? Look, you could do a whole series of anti-capitalist videos on this.
Yep.
But you're too interested in arguing with this right-winger. Like, you might actually do some good in the world. Maybe there'll be some regulation or something of these people. Just look at this. It's so sick because
but
look.
Adam.
What?
But Adam, you don't understand. Okay. It's ridiculous to say that wokeness has anything to do with communism. Because I have to defend these corporations.
I know.
From this evil right-winger, all in the name of woke fat acceptance.
This is, if this is true, this is so insidious because it's like you tend to form your eating habits when you're a kid. And they are marketing this at kids.
Of course.
It's video games.
Of course.
So if you're saying, look, it doesn't matter. You can be a fatty little kid at 10. You can be a fatty little girl at 12. You can be a fatty little girl at 14. Look, those eating habits are going to be impossible for them to overcome. And they don't care. They want to sell snacks to your entire life. They don't care if you die at 40. They don't care if you have a heart attack at 39. They don't give a fuck. This is so insidious.
But he doesn't care.
And he's the one just standing here going, look, I care about people. Well, I'm the one who cares about people. He's the one, that guy is the one that can't stand seeing fat people in video games. Look, you've totally fallen for the propaganda, Noah. You need you need some smelling salts so you can actually get woke. Actually figure out what's going on here.
Well, this is how you know that this is a cult. This is
of
an
course.
Ideological cult. Yeah. And when we watch his second video from the beginning, I want to get into part of why I think this is happening, even though Noah and these other people are too stupid to understand the philosophy that they're parroting.
Look, I heard this argument relatively recently, maybe 6 months ago, maybe a year ago. And ever since I heard it, I thought, I wonder if there's some truth here. I wonder if there's the smoking stuff.
Mm-hmm.
4 out of 5 doctors smoke cools. It's like, I mean, what's going on here with this fat acceptance movement? It makes perfect sense in the context of capitalism. Mm-hmm. I've said this a lot on the trans stuff, and they hate it. They're like, what? The medical industry is making money off of this? What, they would lie?
Yeah. Is it a coincidence that all these companies are pushing fat acceptance, which helps them make more money? Is it a coincidence that all these doctors and medical institutions are pushing transitioning, which makes them money? Like, the incentives, like, just because the incentive lines up doesn't necessarily mean it's happening. But when the incentives line up in a very specific way, you should be eyebrow raised at the very
Well,
minimum.
that's the whole concept of regulation. You have an impartial third party come in and saying, look, are people being taken advantage here?
Right.
Are you teaching little girls to be fat their entire lives?
Whoa, Adam. I don't want the government getting in between my doctor and me, okay?
Well, listen.
My doctor can never, ever be motivated by anything other than just helping me out of the pure kindness of their medical heart.
The medical industry is one of the most regulated industries in all of mankind.
No, the government shouldn't be involved in any. I'm on the left, and as a very known classically left-wing position, I don't think the government should be regulating anything in the medical industry.
Look, that's what's crazy here, because Noah is basically, and a bunch of trans activists are making the far left libertarian argument, or far right libertarian argument. Yeah. The free market capitalism argument.
Right.
The anti-government regulation argument. They won't come right out and say it.
Well, they do. They just say it. They say it in a different way. They say, "Oh, it should be between a doctor and a patient." Doesn't that sound nice?
Did you see my tweets on this? I actually tweeted out about this.
No, recently?
Yeah, because I did some tweet, and a bunch of people misrepresented the tweet as on the trans stuff. Yeah.
Right.
I had to clarify my position because obviously. No, bring the tweet up. It'll be fun.
Targets to that end, like the corporations that heavily market unhealthy foods, or the regulations that have shifted how agriculture is subsidized, encouraging the use of healthy ingredients.
So wait, I want to go back for a second. Okay. Did you hear that? He just said, he was just in the first video, he was criticizing Think Before You Sleep for this conspiracy that this has anything to do with companies trying to push unhealthy food. Okay.
Right.
Significant factors at play. If you're sincerely interested in promoting healthy habits, why is your first target media that, destigmatizes fatness? There are far more worthy targets to that end, like the corporations that heavily market unhealthy foods.
This is part of marketing unhealthy foods, you moron. You moron. That's his entire argument.
Oh my God.
Look, it's more insidious if you can trick some useful idiot to go on their YouTube channel and virtue signal about fat acceptance. Like, more people are going to fall for that than a Ben and Jerry's ad.
But see, this really shows you the power of the elephant, okay, and framing. Because if someone on the left was to frame the arguments just a little bit differently, Noah would literally agree with every single thing Think Before You Sleep was saying.
He would totally get it. Yeah, right. You're exactly right.
If you just framed it a little bit differently. But since it's in this framing of the against the woke framing, like, his elephant just takes over and his brain literally shuts down and he cannot perceive reality correctly. Yeah. It's so fascinating that this is how people operate. And when you see it, it's like, once you start to see this, it becomes so clear.
Yeah, this morality binds and blinds. This is the blind part. Yes. Like, Noah is completely blindfolded. His eyes are gouged out. Like, he can't.
Right.
He can't see anything. He's in an ideological stupor right now. Yes. I mean, isn't this where the term woke comes from? You are asleep. Wake up, Noah. Wake up.
The regulations that have shifted how agriculture is subsidized, encouraging the use of healthy ingredients, or the lack of access to healthy organic foods in places like food deserts. Now, in his first video, Think Before You Sleep does bring up Dove's parent company and how they also own a lot of junk food companies, but his critique is not actually about those companies. It's targeted towards body positive media, which again doesn't make much sense considering how little sway, basically none, that actually has in regards to the change in public health over time.
He's such a moron.
Do you like that? So he basically brought up studies last video that showed that if you don't have a problem with your weight, you're not going to change it. Okay.
Right. Yeah.
And
that's body positivity.
Right. And Think Before You Sleep pointed out and said, you made my argument for me. And then in his response video, he says, how could you say that if you make everyone feel fine being fat, that would make them more likely to keep being fat?
Right.
You brought up that evidence, idiot, last time. And now you see this time he's afraid to bring up any studies. So he doesn't even try.
Right. Because he knows, look, I'll probably get this wrong.
Yes. He's just afraid. He's like, well, listen, people were getting fatter before before body positivity movement. It's like, okay.
Well, that's
No one
that.
said
That's
that was
my
the
argument.
yeah, no one was saying it was the only thing that was going on here, obviously.
That's why this is interesting, because I do think you can get people to a certain weight just off the snacks tasting good. Not
Yes.
even really advertising at all.
Right.
But if you want to sustain that level of consumption, when people wake up and realize, look, I'm 400 pounds, I'm going to Jenny Craig, I'm going to the gym, I'm going to get my life together. You got to be like, oh no, how do we fight
Right.
back?
Exactly.
The body positivity movement.
Because if this was framed differently, Noah would understand this. But since he's framed it like woke issue, his brain shuts off. Because very obviously, as you laid out perfectly, okay, you're gonna have a situation where food companies are gonna start putting more and more unhealthy sugars and additives in their foods because it's cheaper and it makes it taste better, blah, blah, blah. They're gonna increase portion size, all the stuff we talked about, all these things that make you chemically addicted to the food. They're gonna start shoving all this stuff in the food first. People are going to start eating it more and more. They're going to start getting fatter and fatter and fatter. And someone's going to say, hey, wait a minute. We're all getting fat.
Countermeasures.
What the heck? When I go and I look at a picture from 1950 and I see a bunch of people standing around, they don't look as fat as we do now in current year. We need to change this. And that's when all of a sudden the body positivity, fat, don't fat shame people thing comes out.
Ben & Jerry steps in and says, we ain't changing nothing.
Yeah, exactly. They're like, Ben & Jerry's sitting around like, the jig is up. We got to do something to stop this.
Yeah, but that's what I want to see. I know it's got to be out there. People have got to be openly talking about this. Someone is talking about this.
Hey, listen, you got to get the Project Veritas or whatever they are now because everything fell apart.
No,
go get some lady. Okay, they're gonna go get some hot lady to go seduce the vice president of Ben & Jerry's to talk about how fat, and secretly film them talking about how the fat acceptance movement is really like part of the evil Ben & Jerry's grand plan to make all the dumb woke virtue signaling idiots on Twitter accept eating big tubs of unhealthy Ben & Jerry's ice cream.
I see the smoking gun more like some lesbian social justice academic who's coming up with the body positivity movement and a check for like $2 million from Ben & Jerry's delivered into her account.
Right. No, that is the way it actually happens. It wasn't created by Ben & Jerry's or anything. That's the way it actually happens. Is that you have a bunch of these annoying socialists who sit around and they have their lens
stupid ideas,
right. They have the dumbest, like Noah, have the dumbest lens at which they view the world, which is that whatever exists, whatever is considered normative right now must actually be bad. Okay.
Right.
So if people are
Let's
saying,
imagine a society of all fat people.
Yes. If society is telling us that we should be skinny
and healthy.
Well, that must be bad because we all live in a liberal, white, cis het patriarchy that's super oppressive. So we have to just do the opposite of everything they say. So actually being fat must be good.
Exactly.
Oh, I'm such a genius.
And then Ben & Jerry's comes along and says, great Scott, you've got an awesome idea.
Here's a check. Here's a big bag of money.
Here's a big bag of money. Why don't you spread this idea around to Noah Samsen's YouTube channel?
Yes. So what Ben & Jerry's does is they're like, oh, I'm just a random concerned advocacy group. He puts on like a mustache. They put on like a mustache.
Exactly.
I'm Ted and Larry. Ted and Larry cares about women. Yes, here's a big bag of money that I just randomly got, not connected to anything corporate whatsoever. Here you go.
Exactly. They form some nonprofit.
Yes.
A society for fat acceptance. Yep. That's exactly it. Yeah, you can't have a Ben & Jerry's check. What am I thinking?
Yes.
It's got to be a nonprofit.
It's Ted and Larry's care for the acceptance of body positivity movement.
Yeah, exactly.
There you go.
Yep. And Noah, you didn't get any of that money. You're
I
just
know.
simping here for free.
And this
What a
dumb
dumbass.
idiot right here sitting,
Yeah.
slurping on the Ted and Larry teats without actually getting any.
If Noah wanted to actually put a funny joke in his video, he would
Yes.
be eating a tub of Ben and Jerry's.
True. There you go. There you go.
That would be great.
It is
That would be
funny
great.
how
Noah's not into he doesn't know the joke though. That's
no.
That's what's sad about this.
It is funny and also disturbing how Ben and Jerry's is so despicably woke online
Oh,
on
I
their Twitter
know.
account. So
I know.
disgustingly, despicably woke about literally everything. And yet they're selling this like ultra unhealthy sugared garbage to people and get to pretend the virtue signal. Like go to hell. Go
Dude,
straight to hell.
Look, it's so perfect though. It is so perfect in its insidiousness.
Yes.
Because it is. They're probably in favor of the fat positivity movement. They gotta be,
I'm
right?
sure. I'm
Yeah.
sure. Yeah. Well, no, I mean they are, because obviously they were saying that their parent company was involved is owns Dove, which is doing this stuff.
Yeah.
So
This is great. This is great.
and you know Ben and Jerry's, like all these other food companies, they all have these nutrition scientists that go and try to make their foods as addictive as possible. Yes.
I'm wondering if Dove actually came up with the idea or if it was Ben and Jerry's that came up with the idea. And they're like, look, we can't do this. I mean, we're Ben and Jerry's. If Ben and Jerry's does fat acceptance, look, we got to get some other company to do this.
Right. Here's the nutrition information from Ben and Jerry's half-baked ice cream.
Oh, man. Look, that stuff's delicious. I don't want to hear this.
Oh, you like the half-baked?
It's all good, man. Ben and Jerry's is delicious.
So serving size is 2/3 of a cup.
Okay.
Which is not that much ice cream.
I used to eat one of those pints just in one sitting, and everyone would freak out at me. They'd be like, "Oh my God, Adam, did you just eat a pint of Ben and Jerry's?" And I'd be like,
"Okay." Well, let me tell you what
that's like a serving.
Yeah. Would you want me to tell you the nutrition if you ate the whole pint?
Yeah, do it.
Okay.
It's like that's 4 servings, isn't it?
It's 3. If you ate the whole pint, Adam, you would be ingesting 64 grams of fat.
64.
32 grams of saturated fat.
Oh, wow. 90. Okay, I'm up to 90.
175 milligrams of cholesterol.
Oh, wow. Only milligrams, though. Those are the small ones.
There you go. 134 grams of carbs.
Oh, wow. I thought it was carb-free.
There you go. And 99 grams of sugar.
Oh, yeah. The sugar's what I like. Oh, so delicious.
There's your very woke company, Ben and Jerry's.
No vitamins? No minerals?
Oh, okay. You got 10% of your daily vitamin D if you eat the entire pint. Okay, is that good?
10%.
Yes, you get 10% of your.
Well,
vitamin
I take a vitamin D supplement, so I'm not hurting for the vitamin D.
Well, there you listen. It's milk, so you get 30% of your calcium. If you eat the entire pint. You get 50% of your daily iron. Look, there you go. You said eat 1 pint of Ben and Jerry.
I don't do it anymore. I mean, look.
Right.
Obviously, the older you get, the harder it is to stay thin.
Well, also, I mean, I feel like you just eat that whole thing like as an adult and you just feel like disgustingly sick.
Maybe.
Okay. You'll have to try it. No, don't try it. I'm just joking. Okay, let's continue.
I don't think shaming is good, and I think destigmatizing fatness is fine, because stigmatizing it doesn't actually do anything positive. And remember, of course, that the sort of response
stigmatizing
we've seen to this.
Look, both of us are just like, how can you say that? Stigmatizing doesn't do anything positive.
He put up a study that showed that that if people don't have a problem with being fat, they're not going to change.
Right. Stigmatizing it is how it does do something positive.
Right.
Like we develop stigmas around all the things we don't want, like cannibalism. Right.
Exactly. Yeah. Why do we want people like there's ways to do it. I'm not saying that you should go up to like fat people and just start like spitting on them and mocking them, right, for being fat.
No.
Right. I'm not
saying
mocking
to be like them, okay.
Right. Well, I'm not saying you have to be a jerk about it, but there's a huge difference between saying like, well, maybe there are good ways to motivate people to lose weight and bad ways to make people lose weight. That's very different than saying, you're beautiful as an obese whale. Like, no, you're not beautiful. Lizzo's not beautiful. Lizzo's disgusting. Okay.
But we got past it with smoking. Remember, smoking was cool. You'd see it in movies. People realized,
Right.
holy cow, smoking is bad for you.
Yes.
And then all of a sudden they took it out of the movies. They started making these crazy commercials where you'd see someone in the hospital dying of lung cancer. It's like
right.
they found a way to take care of it. And it was shaming. A lot of shaming took place.
You know,
Still, shaming is taking place with smoking. People look at you like, oh, you're smoking? What a loser. Yeah.
Well,
So
it's like,
what is wrong with shaming?
nothing.
Yeah, you should.
You should.
Oh my
like
God. You're having seconds? Look, you're a big fat pig.
Like,
put it down.
If Lizzo was a normal weight, she
Mhm.
would probably be pretty hot.
Look, this is the thing.
But no, she's like, I'm obese and I'm proud. It's like, well,
look,
you shouldn't. That's not something you should be proud of.
They're not proud forever. All these celebrities do it. They're big fat pigs. They become a billionaire. They're like, oh my God, it would take 4 lifetimes for me to spend all this money. I better lose some weight. I got to live long.
Yes.
I got all this money to spend.
Are people going to be saying, yes, Queen to Lizzo in 10 years, 20 years when she has to get her legs amputated because she has so bad diabetes?
Lizzo is going to get thin. This is exactly what happens to all the celebrities. They lose a bunch of weight. They get healthy, and everyone's like, oh my God, you're such a turncoat. I can't believe you gave into the system.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I can't believe you gave into the system to be healthy so you could spend money into your late 80s.
Terrible.
Yeah. Lizzo thin is going to be interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, those pictures are so horrendous. Every time somebody says Lizzo, that one picture that everyone is spreading on the internet. That's so bad.
Ad from the anti-woke crowd is not about promoting health. Obviously not. These are.
Oh, look. I know some of these YouTubers.
There you go.
Oh, look, it's Blair White.
There you go.
Who else do we have here?
Aren't health channels, they're.
Oh, look. It's Bill Maher.
There you go.
He didn't talk about that, did he?
No, he did. Well, not.
It's Ryan. Look, it's Ryan Kennel.
But
Anti-woke channels, which are political channels. Anytime they're talking about health, they're just.
Oh, our channel's not political. Look, we're centrist. We're completely neutral.
Yeah, but
so
this really shows the blinds morality thing here, because like he's literally conceptualizing it of, well, I don't have to side with them or agree with them because they're my political opponents. Even if the people that you disagree with on politics about everything have a take that you agree with, even if you don't agree with why they have the take, they can have the take for a terrible reason. That doesn't mean they're wrong. It doesn't mean you should have the opposite take. You could totally say, listen, I think that Dove maybe is doing this fat acceptance thing for completely cynical reason, right? But that doesn't mean that he has to necessarily be in favor or against it. Or he could say, I don't agree with think before he sleeps politics. But that doesn't mean that being fat is healthy and that we should accept it. Like, this is the NPC brain right here.
Instead of responding to him saying you're wrong about everything, why don't you respond and say, look, wouldn't it be great if we had some government regulation to do with this? I mean, you've already agreed that it's bad.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
I don't know if think before you sleep is a free market.
Yeah, I don't know if politics enough to comment one way or the other, but
he might just come out and say, yeah, that's a great idea. Let's have some regulation. Wasn't it funny when you looked up that wrong study? What an idiot. That was funny. Noah Samsen will forever be the wrong study guy to me.
Oh, God.
Concern trolling to continue their political project of decrying degeneracy in media. Fat people are real.
It's like degeneracy in media.
Yeah.
Look, he doesn't even know why the shaming exists.
Well, but okay. I'm gonna tell you. Here's the real black pill, Noah. Because I know you're listening. And for everyone else that's listening,
no way.
Okay. Most people don't actually care about things for the right reasons. They care about things for the wrong reasons. Okay? That's
course.
just the reality of the situation.
It's
So
sad,
it doesn't
but
matter.
true.
It doesn't matter why someone cares about whatever reason, what their motivation for caring about it is. You can talk about it, you can bring it up, but you actually have to address whatever it is, the thing that they're talking about, whether it's real or not.
Yeah. This is why so many political movements, they're like, they take advantage when they have the opportunity. You know, something happens and then all of a sudden they're like, wow, people care about this now. We've been trying to get movement on this legislation for decades.
Yes. That's what I always said. There's all these people that are pushing all these political causes all the time.
Of course.
It's not like they're suddenly like, well,
but
now
nobody cares.
Now in the year 2023, I've just changed my mind. It's like, no. They've always been pushing this issue for 30 years, 40 years, 50 years. It's just now the time is ripe that people care about it for whatever reason. And so they're finally their broken clock. They've been banging away at this broken clock for their entire life. And finally, just by chance, they're correct at this one moment.
Yeah.
That's
we want
true of
people
everyone.
Ben and Jerry's is like, we want everyone to be fat and unhealthy.
Yeah.
Now's our chance.
Right.
People care about this.
Right.
They exist, and their inclusion in media should not, in my opinion, hinge on whether or not that fat person is running on a treadmill and eating celery. Limiting their representation as some roundabout individualistic way of getting them to lose weight is insane. Full stop.
That's not why they're limiting their representation.
Yeah, it's insane, even though he promoted a study that showed that it wasn't insane, but whatever. It's fine.
Noah, why do you think we limit the representation of Nazis in media as the hero? Why do you think we do that, Noah?
Social contagion is just a conspiracy, Adam. If we had Nazi heroes in media, that wouldn't make more people Nazis, obviously.
Why do you think that we don't make movies where we try to make people empathize with literal Nazis?
That's a great question. You can ask whenever we talk to these people about the social contagion for gender dysphoria or for fat acceptance. You'd say like, oh, well, should we have movies where Nazis are portrayed as, the heroes?
Sympathetic. Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Why do we limit their representation in movies and media and stuff like that?
Right.
Because we don't want people to be Nazis, you moron. It's so easy.
Right.
It's so easy, Sitch. Look, that's why they limit representation for fatsos. They don't want people to be fat and unhealthy.
But Adam, let me counter.
Okay.
There were Nazis in America. There still are Nazis in America, even though there's not media and movies portraying Nazis positively, which means, ergo ad facto, to infinitum, vis-a-vis, that means that if you had positive representation of Nazis in media, that would have no effect on creating more Nazis.
Disagree. I mean, I strong disagree on that, Noah. I think it's pretty obvious you would have more Nazis. And obviously, it's working out great for Ben and Jerry's. They're happy.
Hi, you just listened to a clip from the Sitch and Adams show. If you like what you heard, you can listen to our live show right here on this channel on Sunday, starting at 1 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern. And if you want, you can super chat us. We read $20 and up super chats on the show and then do a follow-up stream on the following Tuesday where we read the rest of the unread super chats and interact with fans of the show. Subscribe to this channel right here to listen to the live show or to listen to more of our awesome clips.